My name is Marie, and I oversee our business for retail here in Maryland. And we're really excited to have Chris, Winemaker, on the Dark Horse team here to go over some amazing wines for summer. As a lot of you might know, Dark Horse has a pretty long lineup of offerings, but we feel that going into the summer, we want to taste through a couple of our favorites and let you know of maybe some offerings that you didn't know existed yet. So with that, I will turn it over to Chris, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I guess before I tell you a quick bit about myself and the Dark Horse wine, just want to say thanks for letting me be a part of this. I will say that this is my first Zoom tasting. I have done a few virtual tastings just with some colleagues, but I've seen a lot of my colleagues do this lately, which is super cool, super exciting. I was really excited to be able to come and speak with you guys today. And so, like I said, first one, bear with me. I do tend to talk quite a bit. If I'm going too fast, please slow me down. Just be comfortable. I like to be engaged. Just interrupt me at any time, however you want to do it. But so that's my spiel on that. A little bit about myself. I've been making wine for, a little over 15 years now. I started out on the Central Coast making wine in a custom crush facility. I was able to get exposure to several different winemakers during crush every year. It was phenomenal. Had a great time, learned a lot of different stuff, a lot of eccentric stuff. Then I had the opportunity to work for a large winery in the Central Valley and did a lot of time with them, learning a lot of weird techniques, a lot of fun techniques. And then I had the really cool opportunity to come on board with E&J Gallo Winery. And I can say that they just let me run wild. I get to work with really cool people, and I get to work with really cool wine. And this is like, Dark Horse is the epitome of my winemaking philosophy. And my boss, Beth Liston, she's very passionate about this, and I'm super happy to be a part of her team. I really enjoy working with her. I think we have really good mindset, similar mindset, but we still push each other. So I think that's where we can, you'll see it in the product, and it's a lot of fun. So with that, with Dark Horse, just a quick history on it. The whole thing is, winemakers, we're like scientists. We want to trial stuff. We want to press the limits. We want to cross boundaries, anything we can do to deliver something that's superior. A lot of the times, though, that means that it's going to cost a lot of money to do that, which in turn costs the customers a lot of money. But that's not what we're looking for. We want to do something that's going to rival these super premium wines, but be at an affordable price, right? So Beth, like I said, has pioneered this. She goes after anything she can, innovative winemaking. One of her best quotes is, you got to risk everything to learn a lot, right? And, we subscribe to that, and I love that. And I guess what I can say is there's a few things that have come out of this in the the better part of a decade that we've been making these beautiful wines. We have been able to get the pick, like the best pick. We get our choice of 400 vineyards. We at Gallo are very fortunate to have some of the best sourced fruit in the world right here in California. It's phenomenal. We've got Lodi Delta fruit. We've got North Central Valley, which if you're not familiar with the valley, the Northern Valley is a lot cooler at night, where you have that heat in the daytime, cooler at night. So you get that really nice acid development fruit, all of that. So Dark Horse goes after that. Another one of them is we've got world-class winemaking and viticultural practices, right? So everything starts in the vineyard. We have some of the top viticulturists in the world. It's phenomenal. So we get to pick, well, I guess, again, the best fruit that we can. And I feel very lucky, considering that, it shows here, and you'll taste it, but that's not always the case. So I definitely feel lucky there, and it's fantastic. But basically, having the top pick of all the best fruit, the world-class viticulturists, it basically comes out, and this isn't the entire portfolio, but it's just it's a really rich, complex profile or portfolio. Everything over delivers. And that's really cool considering it's at an affordable price. So I guess back to the dark horse bit of it. Every year we continue to try to innovate, try to do something that's crazy, try to make a New Zealand style Sauvignon Blanc out of California, and we've succeeded, and we're very proud of that, and that's really awesome. When the Provence Rosé started getting big, we decided, hey, let's go away from the traditional California Rosé and let's go after that Provence style. So we've done that, and we'll taste that here as well. Basically, we really go for it. We are not, at first, we were not considered a top contender, and I think that we've proven ourselves. I mean, our accolades, everything that we've submitted for paneling, we've got 90+ points, or we've earned a best buy, and it's really exciting to be able to sit here and say that. And I think I may be rambling on and going too long about Dark Horse, but again, I'm super excited about it. I really am part of this. I really do believe in what we make here, and I kind of have to get that out. So I think I may have gone over a little bit there, but I would love to start tasting if you guys want me to keep talking, but I'd love to start tasting. Cool. All right. So first, going to talk about the Dark Horse Sauvignon Blanc. I really want to, before I pour this, I just want to put that out there in front of you. We just got our new labels this year and new capsules, and it's just really cool. It's really pops on the shelf, and I feel like we've always had really nice packaging, but this is something like we're super excited about. It looks really clean. All the displays look really nice as well. So I just wanted to highlight that really quick, and I've got a few others up here. So let's start off here. Like I said, nobody's doing the California Sauvignon Blanc that tastes like New Zealand. We are, and I think we've done a really good job. We've got that nice grassy thiol aroma. We've got jalapeno, which is really cool, really nice. A little bit of that fresh cut grass. That's fantastic though. A little bit of pear too today. So this wine's super fresh, right? It's got a little bit of that residual CO2. We want to hang on to that. It keeps it bright and fruity and crisp. I mean, you really can't go wrong with this Sauvignon Blanc. I mean, you may hear me say poolside sipper a couple of times during this, but it's definitely, when the heat is rising, you want this nice, cool, clean, crisp finish, and I mean, super nice aroma too. And then I know that, you know, I've watched Stephanie Gallo talk a lot about wines she's tasting, and one of her things are pantry pairings, and she's brought up the Goldfish and Sauvignon Blanc, and I thought, oh, that's awesome. I really like that. Never thought about that. And so I have a couple for the other two wines that we'll be tasting. I'll share that when I taste, but if you haven't heard that, try it. Goldfish and Dark Horse Sauvignon Blanc. Very cool. So are there any questions while I'm sitting here enjoying this?
Chris, I actually have a question for you. How do you guys make a New Zealand style Sauvignon Blanc out of California grapes? What is different that you guys do maybe compared to another winery that makes Sauvignon Blanc?
So that is an awesome question. I can tell you what we do in regards to what the other wineries do. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that there's definitely different aging practices. Some will do barrel ferments. They'll pick at a different bricks. Well, what we do is we pay a ton of attention to what's happening in the vineyard. Winemakers spend a lot of time out there. We're walking the vineyard rows. I mean, just picture it. You're walking the rows, you're looking at the fruit, you're pulling a berry off here and there, you're tasting it. And what you're tasting for is not only maturity, because maturity can say something in numbers, right? But we want the wine to taste a certain way. So let's go out there and let's taste the grapes. And let's see what they're going to taste like. And so a lot of the time we're picking based on flavor, based on taste, based on aroma. And I think that's one of the big deals in regards to some of the, the winemaking techniques. We treat it very delicately. It is a delicate wine, and we take a lot of care in the winery when we bring it in. We crush and destem it right away. We press it gently, and we ferment it very cool, not very cool, but standard, say 55 degrees. We don't want to lose any of those aromatics. But I want to say what it boils down to is we pay a lot of attention to these grapes when they're in the vineyard, and we pick based on flavor, and we're looking for those high thiols or the grassy, the jalapeno, other than like a ripe pear or a ripe apple. And of course we ferment in stainless steel. We don't ferment in barrel, and it gives us this bright fruit. That jalapeno is really popping. I can smell it right now coming out of my glass, and it's very fun, actually, the way we can make these. So I would say that's our main difference right there. It's just the grapes when we pick them, and a lot of time in the vineyards.
Another question for you. Are all of the grapes that you source coming from Gallo-owned vineyards, or are you constantly searching for grapes outside of what you normally use? I know a lot of brands, we change vineyards kind of year after year to go after a certain profile that we're looking for.
That's a great question too. So yeah, I think that maybe a misconception about Gallo is we own all of our own vineyards, and we own a lot of them. We do have our own vineyards, and we take great care of them. However, we have a lot of contracts with local growers, and it's really cool because we have had these contracts for years. Some of them probably started with our founders. And I think that's part of the, I would say, the 400, vineyard or growers that we get to go and visit. But of course, we're always looking for the best. And when I say that I get to kind of cherry pick some of the best, it's because we're out there, we're tasting all of our options. And if there are new growers coming on, you bet we'll be in that vineyard, and we're going to get to know the grower. And of course, the growers have access to our viticulturists. So always best practice all the time. And I hope that answers the question, but we're always looking for the next vineyard or the next best product or grape.
Chris, do you ever find yourself sourcing outside of California?
Yeah, we do. In regards to the Dark Horse portfolio, I believe everything is California now. However, we did have an international red blend, and we did source some of those old world style wines to give it a unique flavor and aroma, which was very cool. We've been able to harness that now with California grapes, but for our portfolio here, they're California.
Awesome. And we actually just had a question come in. She's asking, what does it mean to be a dark horse? So maybe if you have kind of some insight on how this name came to be on this wine.
That's cool. So what does it mean to be a dark horse? I think that, I can answer that, and you could probably ask 10 people that and you'll get 10 different answers, especially if you ask 10 different winemakers. We're like doctors. We all give you the same or different answers. But what does it mean to be a dark horse? Really, honestly, you're the unexpected winner, right? Like this is totally a pun, but like right out of the gates, like you're head to head with all these competitors, and nobody's expecting you to finish first, and you just blow everybody out of the water. You cannot go into the market and pull one of these bottles off the shelf and beat it at the price point. And nobody expected that. And we are super proud of that. And I think that embodies winemaking in general, but for sure this team that we have. This is an amazing team that I'm a part of, and every one of us pours our passion into this, knowing that we have that chance. And when we do win, or when we do blow everyone out of the water, it's It's super cool, but then it just gives us more drive to keep going and be that next dark horse. That's my answer. I would say.
I love that.
Cool.
I definitely resonate with that as well, but would love to know what we're tasting next.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so this is the rosé. Again, new label, very cool. I do want to say I'm very partial to rosés. I started off my career making Zinfandel, well, basically all red wines. I did make some Grenache rosés, but I just really fell in love with the winemaking of rosé. And I started with white Zin, which is really cool because I honestly thought of that as maybe, you know, like the 80s drink, white Zin. Well, I learned right away that, hey, white Zin is really cool. It's not exactly easy to make if you're making it the right way. And I learned a lot. And because of my time with white Zin, when that says, hey, let's go for Provence style rosé, I'm all in. This is phenomenal. So this is one of my favorite wines. One of my favorite wines to make is rosé. The dominant varietal here is Grenache, which is one of my favorite varietals to make wine with. But it's just, this is one that I think is a true dark horse because everybody was going after Provence style rosé. It has to be French. It has to be delicate, pink, subtle color. I don't know if you can see that with the whiteboard and behind me, but it's just, it was definitely something that I feel we saw the challenge and jumped on it. So with that said, I'm going to taste this. So this is a really nice wine. I talked about the Sauvignon Blanc being delicate earlier, and this is the same way. And we treat it very similarly. We get it off the skins as soon as possible, delicately press it, ferment it cool, but not too cool on this one in order to make sure that we don't have an incredibly aromatic wine, say like a sweet rosé. The way we differentiate it is we do ferment it a little warmer to blow off some of the fruity esters. So in turn, you get a nice strawberry, maybe sometimes a strawberry cream. Which right now I do feel like I'm getting a little bit of that strawberry cream and a nice minerality, which is on the nose and in the mouth. And that's got a really nice balance to it as well. It's not the sharp, crisp acidity like you have with the New Zealand style Sauvignon Blanc, but it's balanced. It finishes very well, and it has a really nice lingering finish, actually. I'm still getting that strawberry and the retro, which is awesome. So before I ask if there are any questions, I do want to bring in the pantry pairing. So this one's really, really cool. So I have 3 children. 8, 4, and 2 years old. And yes, of course we have goldfish, but we have string cheese. And I mean, we buy the bulk string cheese because everyone's always eating it, except for my youngest. She only eats about half of it. So dad always ends up eating the other half. And it's really good with rosé. And so that's my pantry pairing, my recommendation. It's not a, let's see, it's not an aggressive cheese, as some of you probably know, but it sure does go really well with this rosé. So are there any questions about this?
Well, Chris, first of all, I'd like to chime in and say that Dark Horse Rosé is completely unexpected, especially for the French rosé lover, and how popular that style of rosé is. For $8 or $8.99 rather,
Right.
You cannot beat the price point. It's not that super sweet rosé. It definitely has like that acidity at the end that lingers just slightly, but it's not, you know, as sharp as a Sauvignon Blanc or maybe a true Provence style. So it's definitely something that I love, and it actually comes in a can. It's equivalent to 2 glasses of wine. So I love that you can have it at the pool. So yes, it's a great patio pounder, if you will. But it is amazing to drink during the summer. And also I wanted to say one of my favorite recipes with this wine, watermelon is coming into season, and I like to take a tablespoon measure and scoop out balls of watermelon and place them on wax paper and put them in the freezer, and then put them in the Dark Horse Rosé. So it keeps it chilled. It's not watery. It makes great rosé if you put it in a magic bullet. So highly recommend. But question for you would be in regards to the Bubbles rosé. What kind of do you use, Dark Horse rosé to make that? What is that process, kind of compared to the Dark Horse rosé?
Nice. That's a good question. It is definitely a similar process. Again, you're picking on what you want to taste, right? However, we're not bringing the base into this and making it a sparkling. We do go out, we source different grapes, we bring it in, we ferment, and then we go through the Charmat method, where we do our secondary fermentation in tanks. So you will see a different. It's definitely different. I will say, if you love the rosé, the still rosé, it's going to be a little different, but it's not far to where you're going to say, I don't like this, I don't like the other. You're just going to have bubbles. You're going to have that fresh fruit. The strawberry is still there. Grenache is still great. But yeah, it's definitely different. It's not just bringing the rosé in and fermenting, doing the secondary fermentation. That was a good question. Thank you.
Awesome. Another question, is the Brut Rosé sweeter than the regular Brut Bubbles in a can?
So there is a dosage at the end where there's a little bit of sugar added. However, it's more of a balance. So it's not going to taste sweet. It's going to just taste balanced. So you have, of course, what you call bubble pain. You feel the bubbles, right? So you're going to feel those bubbles, the acidity from the bubbles, the acidity from the wine, and the dosage is going to basically make this balanced, a little creamy, along with the bubbles. So yeah, it's definitely good.
Love that. What are we tasting next?
Oh, okay. Thanks for keeping me on track. I love this. This is really fun. Okay, so there we go. Speaking of bubbles, this is the Brut the Brut Bubbles, which is super cool. Yeah, the can is perfect. You go somewhere, you grab a couple of cans, you put them in a cold bag, going to the beach, you can grab the cans, no glass, no problem, right? Like it's definitely something that a lot of us like to do. I will say, I do want to highlight, as I open this and pour it, that this is something that's very cool, because we have earned a very cool spot on the Wine Enthusiast Top 100 for this product. And it's, of course, always really cool and something we're very proud of to be on this list at any point. However, it's a can, and that's really cool because it's the first can ever to make the list. So we got the number 2 spot there, and the Bubbles also scored 90 points. So that's something I really want to say, I really want to get across. It's super cool to have a can on this list, especially at the number 2 spot, and to score 90 points. And this wine is another dark horse at the true meaning. I mean, you're picking a can off the shelf, you're pouring this in your glass, and you're blown away because it doesn't have that champagne marker on it. I'm at a loss for words right now, but basically this is incredible. The way that the style that we go for is more of a creamy note. It's not like that. It's not like the sparkling that you want to buy and make a mimosa. And I am all for mimosas, believe me. But this is one where you want to pour it, you want to taste it, you want to feel it. There's a nice little bit of creaminess. There's a little bit of oak in it as well to give it that more premium aroma and flavor. As I'm talking, I should be tasting because I'm making myself want it. Yeah, so when you taste this, it tastes premium. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, the bubbles aren't piercing. They're creamy. You get a little bit of that oak. It gives it more structure. Not tannic, not phenolic. Just it definitely just coats your tongue just enough. It just shows. I would say it's very blatant with complexity, and that's very cool at the price point it's at. Yeah, and the aromatics are unreal. Oh, so one pantry pairing with this, and then I will let you guys ask questions. So this one's very cool. Again, I'm going to talk about my family. It's my other passion, my first passion. So my wife makes popcorn, and she makes it using coconut oil, and it's amazing. And it's funny because this came from like her great grandfather, who's actually from Minnesota, and had a popcorn trolley cart that he'd push around and sell it. Well, the recipe is no top secret recipe. It's just you put coconut oil in the pan and you pop the kernels in there. Finish it off with sea salt and pair that with bubbles. It's perfect. And of course, all the kids are eating it as well. Mom and dad get to enjoy it with bubbles. It's really fun. So that's my pantry pairing on that one.
Love it. How many serving sizes are in a can?
2. Well, 3 if you will.
Love it. And I think just one more question. What is your favorite dark horse wine?
Oh man. Okay. So
maybe to make and to enjoy, if there are 2 separate ones.
It's got to be the rosé. I mean, it's so to enjoy. I can drink this rosé year round. Typically, a lot of people go for reds in the winter to warm up and whites and pinks in the summer to get that, that cool off. But this wine I drink year round. I love it. I love the complexity of it. But in regards to making it, it's probably one of the most difficult wines that I've made. In rosé in general, when you go out into the vineyard and you're tasting and you think, I really want this. I love these grapes. I want this Grenache right now. The likelihood of getting that is not really happening right now, but you could probably get that off the vines in a couple of days, which is fantastic. You want to make sure that when that hits the winery, that we get it de-stemmed and in the press right away. You're basically babying this along the way. And it's just the delicacy I can't over exaggerate enough. It's just that we want to keep that subtle color. We don't want to leave it on the skins for too long, otherwise it becomes too dark. We don't want to press it too soon or get it off the skins too soon, then it's too light. Along with the color comes with the flavor intensity and the aroma. So something will look beautiful and taste beautiful at the same time. Getting it through fermentation, aging it, like it's delicate. You've got to treat it like a baby, and hopefully it grows up into a nice positive contributor to society. And I would say that's probably why rosé is my favorite wine to make.
And to drink?
And to drink.
I love it. Well,
this is my ultimate poolside sipper, I will say that.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you so much. Do you have any closing words?
Yeah, I can't thank you all enough for letting me be a part of this. I think you get the idea that I like to talk, but I love to talk about wine. I love to make it. I mean, hey, here's the deal, right? Like, I wanted to be a lawyer and work in real estate law when I first got into college. And I, by chance, got into winemaking. I went to school and earned an enology degree. And I cannot state or overstate enough that this was like one of the best things I've ever done. And to be able to make wine and share it with people and have people enjoy it and understand what goes into it and how much of my heart goes into it, it's really cool. So thank you for letting me do this. And in regards to Dark Horse, I mean, you got to taste it. It will totally blow you away. The price point is unreal. Like I just have to say that I do order cases of this to keep on hand. And it's typically, you know, winemakers don't really drink their own wine all that much because we want to see what our friends are making. But Dark Horse is pretty stellar. And if you pull it off the shelf and you drink it, you'll know. And it just is true to the name. Nobody was expecting it. And we can blow you away with that. Bold, ripe, robust reds, crisp, acidic whites, big California Chardonnay. I mean, we've got it all. So that, I just have to say that I'm passionate about it. I'm proud of it. So thanks for letting me talk about it.
Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you everyone for joining. It was a pleasure and such an honor to have a winemaker like Chris talk about his true passion project. And I know from all the Dark Horse wines that I've tasted that they truly overperform and over-deliver. And I'm incredibly lucky to get to sell the portfolio. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you all.